My computer's been a little hitchy lately. Oh, I think it's... Can you hear me now? Let me know if you can hear me now. I think my audio... Still no audio? Face camera. Oh, you can hear me now? Oh, good. All right. Well, I wouldn't have been surprised if something happened today. With everything going on in the world, it's been a crazy, 24 hours, I guess. All right, I'm excited because, oh, good. Hey, Polly, welcome, welcome. Oh, you can hear me in Tennessee. Welcome, welcome, everybody. All right, so in the background last week, I was working on a new class for pattern review called Serger Troubleshooting 101. And Deepika, who is the owner of Pattern Review, wanted it to be partially pre-recorded and then partial live demo. So I ended up shooting the entire class, and I ended up with over 5 hours of footage that I had to whittle down to an hour. So my Thursday, Friday wasn't when I wasn't on live, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, all day Monday. I canceled visiting my parents on Tuesday so I could finish editing everything and get it ready to go for the class on Wednesday. And so the class on Wednesday went great. I'm really happy that in fact was the result, because it was a lot of work, but it also put me behind on projects. So I have my dress, which we're going to work on today, but it's not as far along as I wanted it to be. But I did starch the fabric, and I'm ready to show you how I'm going to progress. Plus, I put the cart before the horse there because I'm trying to decide if I want, I don't know, like a partial opening, or if I just want to keep it across and not have a seam in the front. So that's something else I have to think about for a hot second. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace around the pieces, and I'm going to start working on the pleats if I can decide what I'm going to do at center front. I think at this point I might just make it no opening and just have it be straight across with the pleats, because I also have to make it a little bit shorter. I only bought 2 yards of fabric. So if I wanted to make it a below the knee dress, I needed more than a yard for the front and more than a yard for the back. So I'm going to have to shorten it a little bit. So I'm going to show you all of that in a minute. But the first thing I'm super excited about is, you will see I am wearing my first top made out of the Fabric Mart fabric, Beyond Yoga fabric. And what I want you to notice is, look at this coverage. Okay, so look at the side and then look at the back. Okay, so I am like super excited about this design, and I'm super excited about this fabric because it's so soft and comfortable. I feel like I'm just a little rectangle in the bottom of my screen. Hold on. What is going on today? Hold on one second. I'm not sure. It's showing as full screen for me, Diane. I'm not sure what's happening on your end. My table shot, see, my table shot will just be a little bit of me here. But I was in my face camera, which is full. I'm not sure what's going on. Diane, I'm sorry. But getting back to this fabric is so nice and soft and comfortable. I literally feel like I'm not wearing anything. And my goal was to create a top that covers this area, because I always burn here if I forget to put sunblock on. And I didn't put a cap sleeve on this one, but I like the fact that I've got like a 2.5-inch shoulder, and you notice you can't see my giant strap on my bra, and you can kind of see because it's black, but really it's because it's so feather light, it's really amazing to me that you can't really see it. I mean, you can see it, but you can't really see it. So I am really excited about this fabric. I think I'm going to make a pair of sleeping shorts out of the rest of this color because they're really soft and nice. So I have that deep wine color, and I have so I'm going to make another one out of this deep wine color. They washed up beautifully. And I have this one. Now this one is a navy blue. This is rayon jersey. Okay, these are poly spandex. This is a rayon, or maybe spandex lycra, whatever's in here. And this one is wearing my black tank tops that show my bra straps. So super excited about this. I want to show you how I developed this pattern from my gym tank. That's the first thing I want to show you today. All right, so let's look at my gym tank for a hot second. This is a pattern I came out with a few years ago now, I think before the pandemic. The gym tank, no cleavage. So this, you can see from this picture, if I zoom in here, oops, and then really make it so you can see. Hold on, I'm gonna make it a little brighter, and I'm gonna make it really sharp. All right, so it's peeking down a little bit at center because my headphones are hanging down on the neckline, but you can see it's got a pretty high neckline as is, right? But the back is also a little bit open, and I didn't want the open back, and I wanted it to be a little bit more close around my neck, and I wanted more coverage on my shoulder, and I wanted a wider strap. So I'm going to show you what I did, and I'm really kind of excited about this because it's the perfect, this is like, I think, one of the easiest methods for adjusting a pattern from something else. So let me show you the front first. This is my front. Okay, and what I want to show you here is, let me see if I can get it so I can really show you so you can see. I hate it when I work with a full-size pattern because it's hard to see the whole thing. But basically what I did was I took, oh, you know what? No, I'll just show you. I traced half of the pattern, and my original pattern, I have it right here. So let me just show you the original pattern pieces. Okay, so if we look at these original pattern pieces, you can see how skinny and tight it is. Okay, so see, this is the original pattern. All right, and so what I did was I traced it on a piece of paper, but I only traced this half. Okay, so, oh good, Diane can see me now. Thanks Momzilla for helping out, troubleshooting. Okay, so you can see here what I did was I traced half. Okay, so here is the traced version, is right here. Okay, so see how I traced, well, I'm not doing a very good job of showing you this. Let me move these out of the way. This green dashed line is what I traced. Let me just see if I can get this. This is not a good view. Hold on. There, that's probably better. There, I think that's better. All right, so I traced, and these green lines are my original edges of the pattern. Okay, so you can see the first thing I did, oh, mom power, I love that. Hey, Andrea. Oh, you brought the heat with you. Thank you. We are finally having a, like, non-humid, beautiful weekend. I'm so excited. Oh, my voice seems to be coming and going on my computer. All right, so just let me know. I'm going to bring my microphone and put it right next to me. I don't know. My husband asks me about the battery, but it is plugged into my computer. I'll check that after. So I hope that putting it right next to my mouth will make it better for you to hear. All right, so this green was the original pattern. The first thing I did was I put my ruler on the original here and the original hem, and I just drew a straight line. So I filled in and gave myself another inch here where I don't have a defined waist. Okay, I have a tummy, so I filled that out. I let that out. Then I slashed it and spread it to give myself another inch, which is 2 inches in the front, and I did the same thing in the back. So I have an extra 2 inches in the front and 2 inches in the back at the hem, because this is very, very fitted. Then what I did was I came up here and I went up a 1/2 inch at the base of the armhole, and I redrew my armhole to give me all of this extra coverage. So all of this is extra coverage from the original pattern, like that. Then I also filled in the neckline and lengthened the shoulder on the neckline side. So you can see all of this is also additional coverage. Okay, so once I added all of that in, I folded the piece of paper in half. So here's my line that I drew. I folded it in half and I cut it out. Okay, so that's how I adjusted these pieces. Now on this one, this is the back. In the back, I remembered to fill in or to spread this first. So all of this was spreaded, right? So I did the same thing in the back. I filled in here, did that first, so now my side seams match. I filled in all of this, added all of this extra, because again, I wanted more coverage in the back and everything. And then I filled in my back neckline so it didn't droop. Okay, so that's everything that I added. And again, it was on a big piece of paper like this. After I did the work on half, all right, if I'm still going in and out, I will check my battery for next time. I really apologize. Just bear with me for this one, and I will figure out my microphone problem after. I am so sorry. It could be that I do need a new battery in here, so I apologize. Let me see if there's anything I can do to my mic. Okay. Just make sure everything is plugged in right. All right. I will check everything. I will check it. I will check all this out later with my husband, my audio guy after. So I apologize if you can't hear me. All right. So I filled it all in, folded it in half, and then cut it out. So the beauty of this, is you only have to adjust half the pattern. Then if you leave enough paper on the other side, fold it in half and cut it out, your work is done. Now, have you ever wondered what's the difference between slashing and spreading here to make room versus adding on the outside edge? Well, I'm going to show you that on this one, because on this one, on my front, I was all excited to just cut out this fabric. I forgot to spread it and I cut it out. so I cut it out without doing the spread. So I went back and I spread this side, okay? Then I added paper. So you can see here, this is the other side. I added paper, okay? And all of this right here, that I'm just coloring it in better green. When I folded it in half and cut it out again, this is where it shows on the pattern. Okay, so you can see, you would expect it to start to show near the shoulder because I slashed all the way to the shoulder. Then it starts to show more and more and more and more and more to the hem. So this whole green shading is what I did when I simply slashed and spread this whole thing. So I did add extra for more coverage here. I did. But I added even more, this much more, because I slashed and spread it through the shoulder. So I thought this is a fun way to look at when you're doing pattern adjustments. What is the final result, or where does it show up on the flat pattern? Hey, Tracy. She's excited to join live. Well, I'm super excited you're here. Thank you for joining. Lean says, hello, Jen. Sound and image is fine here. Perhaps it has to do with the worldwide problems in places. Maybe. I know Momzilla posted a bunch of comments about that at the beginning, all the Microsoft problems. So I hope everybody has their computer. I hope everybody is safe. And I hope everybody who's flying today can get home. Oh, Sharon says works for me. She closed YouTube and she came back. Patrick says it's fine. Polly says she can hear me fine. Momzilla says fine. Oh, Paulette, I hope you can hear me. All right. So anyway, I thought this was fun. So my end result from changing the pattern from this oh, wait, let me get the front. You can see I had to add a lot to this pattern. So you can kind of see everything I added here. Now keep in mind, this is a super negative ease. This gym tank is designed to be a fitted second layer or base layer. So there's no ease in here. There's a lot of negative ease. So now if I stand up again, I think you can see that, you know, I've got some ease in here. Not a lot, but I mean, I have enough. So when you turn to the side, my stomach isn't popping out of the fabric. All right. So that's how I made this pattern. And I'll just show you guys one more time. Hey, Bridget, welcome. Okay, so here's the original pattern, and then you can kind of see everything I added to the edges of this pattern to make it bigger. So I'm excited to have this. I'm going to make a bunch of these, and I'm really, really excited about how this fits. I think I'm just going to finish the neckline and armholes with a knit strip. Maybe I'll cut it out on the bias so it's the little space dyed detail will be going, you know, in a different direction. So this is my instant gratification sewing. So you know how like we can have a lot of projects going, and you know, knit projects are really fun to work on because they are instant gratification. Mary, look at, I'm wearing a top that's not black just for you. I cut this one out first because I was so excited to see what this bright color is. Oh, Aisha said she closed out of YouTube and restarted. That helped for the sound. Oh, good. Glad. But anyway, this is going to be my new full coverage tank top. Super excited about it. All right, so I'm going to put that away for now. And I'm going to bring back our friend, the Pintuck dress now. I know, Mary, I love it. And we're going to look at the front for a second. And if you remember, I made this colossal mess at the end of FabFit Friday. Oh, Mary says, love it. Thank you. Well, thank you, Mary. Thank you for coming. We have two Marys. This is so much fun. Thank you guys, everybody. Thank everybody for coming. I really appreciate you guys stopping in and spending a little bit of your Friday with me. All right, so this is my hot mess pattern. And what I'm going to do is show you. I cut my linen in half. And I think you can see that it's kind of stiff now. Like I lightly starched it. So see, it's not as shifty anymore. I think this will be perfect to work on, you know, to do those tucks. Just move this stuff out of the way. Oop. All right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my fabric like this. And I am going to get my front out. Now my first issue is the pattern is too long. So if I line up my selvage edges and then I don't want to have to shorten this too much because this was a little bit below my knees. Oh, Tana, are you asking about why I cut a full front and back for this tee? Is that what you're asking me? And if that's why you're asking me, I do not like to fold knits in half to cut on the fold. Because knits stretch, and if it's not folded exactly right, or if something's happening with the folded fabric, I like to have the full front and back when I cut out my knit, my knit tops. And I'm really not a fan of cutting anything out on the fold, to be honest with you, but for a lot of my knit tees that I make on the regular, I'll make a full front and back. That also helps if it's a print to avoid blinkers in the bust area. Oh, Mary's asking if I'm wearing a skirt. This is one of my classic skirts, Mary. I've been wearing this. I actually went hiking in this skirt this morning, so I can show you. It's got little polka dot shorts. Can you see the polka dots? Can you see the polka dots? Polka dots. So, yep. This is just a nice, soft rayon jersey short, which is so cool and comfortable. And then I use my performance sports knit for the skirt part. I live in these in the summer. They're so comfortable and they're so cool because as I'm hiking, air can circulate in there instead of having yoga pants on. So I really do like the skirts in the summer. And I noticed that my hems are getting longer and longer now as I get older. I used to have really short ones, but I do like to have like my butt completely covered now and, you know, so on and so forth here. All right, so, oh, cute shorts. Oh, Lisa says, good point. And Tana says, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Oh, thank you. I mean, it's not wrong to cut your knits on the fold, though. If you're careful and measure, you can cut your knits on the fold. I just find it easier to lop off the length I need and then cut a single layer. Okay, so now I almost made a tragic error here because I'm thinking of 13 things at once. So what is my error here? Here's my front pattern piece. It's too short. I mean, my fabric is not long enough to cut it out the way I wanted. But which pattern piece is longer, the front or the back? 99 times out of 100, your back piece is longer because the shoulder has to reach around. So let's compare these here. I'm going to put my back. You can see my back sticks down farther than my front. So I need to use my back to figure out the least amount that I need to shorten the skirt of this so I have enough to make this dress out of 2 yards of fabric. So what I'm going to do is, I keep saying I'm not going to have all this mess on my cutting table, and then I continue to have mess on my cutting table. All right. Okay. So first step is I'm making sure that I'm folded, you know, on grain. I am going to lose a little bit here, about an inch, and about an inch on this end, but that's all right. Okay. So I'm going to get rid of my front, and I'm going to make sure, and here's the thing, if we look at this end, I'm going to make sure, well, I guess it really doesn't matter. I just want to make sure I have enough room for my shoulder right here. Okay, and just to keep it from moving around, I'm just going to pin right here, one pin, and then I'm going to slide it down like this. And how do I tell if I'm laying this on grain? If the edge of this matches the selvage, I know it's straight. So I'm going to just do a quick measurement here. Okay, so I've got 7.5, and I need 7.5, so I'm just going to push that to 7.5. So now I know this is straight. Oh, Patrick is asking about maybe doing a band at the bottom. Maybe I can do a band at the bottom. I very well might do that. That's a good idea. But for now, I have to shorten it. So we're going to shorten it. And also we have to remember over here, the fabric really ends right here. So that blue line that I just drew right here is where it really ends. So I'm going to have to shorten. Let's take off 1, 2, 3. If I take off 4 inches, oh, I don't need to take off. I'm going to take off 3 inches. And I think if I take off 3 inches, I'm going to take off 3.5 inches to be safe. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to move this fabric out of the way for a second. I'm just going to hang it on my jib. Oh, a band. Yeah, maybe I will do a band. We'll see. We'll see how short it is when I actually get it on my body. How about that? So because this has a little bit of a curve, I am going to measure 3.5 inches up. And I'm just going to go all the way around here. 3.5 inches. Like this. Now, this part that I'm cutting off could become the pattern piece for my band, right? All right, so that's what I'm going to cut off. And I'm just going to cut it off. But I'm going to save it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say this is my back hem, and then just this is my side seam, and this is my center back. All right, so I've labeled it so I know what it is. I'm going to put it right over here so I don't lose it under my computer. And now I'm going to take 3.5 inches off of the front. And, you know, this gives me an opportunity to just double check to make sure my side seams are the right, are in agreement. So instead of measuring to start, I'm going to just line up my underarm seam. Oh, see, I already walked it, and see this little dashed line right here? I have to get rid of that. So let me just trim that off, because that was not agreeing with the shape of the dress. So this right here is extra that's bowing out essentially. So I'm just going to get rid of that and make it a real straight line. Okay, so I'm just trimming off some to make it straight. But basically now I'm going to put this back here. And it's always a good idea when you're working on a long seam. I'm just going to pin them together up here at the arm so they don't shift. And then I'm just going to walk this straight down. And so I can see that my hem has to end right here. Okay. Now, because this is the center front right here, and I know I have a big bust, I think what I'm going to do is, let me measure. So it is 3.5 inches, so I was accurate, but the front is a little bit shorter than the back. So over here, I'm just going to get rid of 2.5 inches, just to make sure that my hem doesn't pick up under my full bust, if that makes sense. Hey Diane, welcome. So I'm going to do 2.5 under the neckline, 2.5 until I get to the apex, which is about here. Then I'm going to go to 2 3/4 here, 2 3/4 here, to 3 here, to 3.5. So you can see what I did is I'm taking off a little bit less at center front, and then I'm taking off the amount to make the side seams match, because the front piece is shorter and I don't want my hem to pick up at my center front because of my bust. So I'm only getting rid of 2.5 inches at center front, and then I'll just make this match over here like that. And then the last thing I want to check is my transition on my side seams. We know they match, but I just want to make sure I have a nice transition. And I think I do. It's going to be okay. All right, so now I've cut out my pattern and I've gotten rid of I've gotten rid of the extra. Oh, Momzilla says, excellent move for our bust. Thanks, Jay. Well, my bust is always on my mind when I'm making things for myself, because it's always the bane of my existence, to be honest with you. I mean, I shouldn't say that, but, you know, it's hard, because if you've got curves, you always have to make sure you have enough vertical length in addition to enough ease. All right, so now I'm going to trace these out on the fabric. Your thought away from front bottom band pieces. You thought away the front bottom band pieces. Oh, I threw it away. Mary. Oh my God. I threw it away. Mary gets a gold star. Oh my God. I threw it away. Also, I changed my mind here, so I have to tape together this little part that I retrimmed. All right, Mary gets a gold star for today for saving me, because you know I would have been sad later when I realized that I did that, or worse, I could have gone into a cleaning frenzy and thrown it away for real. Ugh. Thank you, Mary. My crumpled. All right, so if you have a hissy fit and throw something away, you can. That was Microsoft's fault. That was definitely Microsoft's fault. All right, I'm going to set my iron on no steam. No steam. Give it a second. And then I'm just going to press this flat so it's not traumatized. Okay. All right. Okay, there we go. We're all better now. Okay. So again, let me label. I think it's Microsoft Plus. It's me. I'm just so excited to work on this. All right, so this is my center front. This is my front hem. And this is my side seam over here. I'm going to put that carefully over here with my other one. Okay. All right. There we go. Safe and sound. All right, so now I can trace my pieces onto my fabric. Oh, Lisa keeps separate trash for any project, and you don't empty until a project is done. That's a really good idea, because if you throw your scraps away and then you need some scraps, that's a thing. All right, we have fire on the earth in the house with a star. Welcome, fire on the planet. Look, I said fire on the earth. I'm so sorry. Fire on the planet. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. Now that I have trued these up, I know that my side seams match, and I shortened my pieces so they will fit on my fabric. So I'm gonna start with the I'm going to work on the back first because it's a lot easier. I don't know if I'm going to have time to get to the front. I might have to show you the front after it's in progress, because I still have to think about some things with that. But the back is ready to go. And remember, I'm going to put some pleats in the back. So I'm going to get my fabric again here. And I'm going to lay it out. Now, to get the most out of my fabric, I obviously want to lay it out so it's closer to the selvage edges. And then I'll have that bigger piece there to worry about maybe cutting a, a band. I'll have all that extra on the fold over there. Oh, Polly says we can blame almost anything. Oh, you know what? Since Polly is here, I'm going to make an announcement about my fall pants fitting class. Let me do that first, because I have finally decided. In my newsletter, I put a wait list for a fall 3-day in-person pants fitting class to see if there was enough interest. Happily, there is enough interest. I had an equal amount of people, like the most people could come one of the weekends in September or October 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to be announcing to the people on the wait list, and I'm going to give them the first opportunity to sign up for it for October 4 to 6. So anyone who signed up and is available then, and I think Polly, I think that is one of the dates you're available. That's why I'm announcing it now. You'd be the first to know. I will be sending out emails to all the people on the wait list after FabFit Friday, and I'm going to set it up on my website. But I had to choose that date because by the time I contacted the hotel, the other date that was popular didn't have a block of rooms available for me to save at a discount. So my fall pants fitting workshop is going to be October 4, 5, 6. All right. Momzilla is asking me if it's top down, center out. So top down, center out by itself is a wonderful method of fitting pants that do not touch your body. So if you're making a wide leg pant, if you're making pants where the crotch hovers below you, top down, center out works 100% of the time, and you can fit pants in 20 minutes. Because essentially you're fitting a skirt with a crotch. So what I've done is I have incorporated the steps of top down, center out to balance the front back leg but that's after we do some body specific adjustments to the pattern pieces to get them to agree with your shape. And then after we do that and work with a single leg muslin and a waistband, which I did learn that from Ruth and Top Down Center Out and the Threads magazine article 218, and I will always give credit to Ruth and Threads magazine and that article, because that is a very cool way to balance a leg, but it doesn't work if you're working on pants or jeans that are snug and touch you, crotch, upper thighs. The only way Top Down Center Out works by itself without traditional adjustments or body specific adjustments is if the crotch is in agreement with your shape. So I've incorporated it into my process, but it starts with adjusting the pattern, which Top Down Center Out is all about. Any pattern can fit any body without touching the draft and not changing it and not changing the shape of the crotch. And I will tell you, I tried to make that work like an Olympic sport. Like I literally tried on over 100 women and a couple men to fit jeans, and I couldn't do it without touching the crotch, the shapes, and to customize. So it is actually part Top Down Center Out. But it is very, very useful, and I don't want to diminish the value of Top Down Center Out, because Ruth took all the existing things. She took a fitting waistband, she took a single leg muslin, which people have already been using, but she put it together in a really elegant way. And I always want to give her credit for that, because she did an amazing job of ordering it and just making a method that works, and it makes it very accessible for people to try pants fitting. So I think she did an amazing job, and I have incorporated it with her permission, and I do give her credit. And I also, like I said, because I've changed it and added to it, I don't want to diminish the value of it by itself. That's all I want to say about that. Oh, Susan is asking me, not on the wait list for pants fitting class, but would like to be added if possible in Connecticut. Okay, so if you go to my website, or if you go to my newsletter I sent out, if you go to my website where the contact form is for my newsletter, right underneath where you put your email in, it says see previous campaigns. So if you look at the July newsletter, you can go there and there's a link to the wait list. You can put yourself on there, and I'll send it out to you as soon as I send it out to the people who are already on it. I think that's the fair thing to do. I mean, just because people are on the wait list doesn't mean they'll necessarily be able to come at the end of the day. So there may be room. Okay, so just stick yourself on there, Susan, and I will see how that goes. Oh, Momzilla says that was a lot of TDCO experiments. Well, you know what? I honestly thought Ruth had come up with this magic thing that I hadn't figured out myself. So I really wanted it to work the way she said. I really did. Like, I wanted it to work for every kind of pant on any kind of body. So I really busted my butt trying to do that. And like I said, it is a wonderful, and it makes pants fitting easier for everybody. So I really give kudos to Ruth for that. But again, I might be remiss in saying that it's very similar to what Palmer and Pletch has been doing forever with their single leg tissue fitting and a separate waistband as well. So I want to give her credit, and I want you to try it. Like, if you haven't tried it, go try it. Like, the Crooked Hem on YouTube did a series on Top Down Center Out that is exactly the way Ruth wants it to be done. So if you want to go check out her method of it, start to finish, go check out the Crooked Hem. She's amazing. She did such a good job of explaining the theory and all the things behind it. And I really invite anybody even just to give it a try, because it is cool. So there you are. All right, so back onto the dress now. what I'm going to do here is I am going to take my back. Oh, yeah, she's very nice too. I mean, I really love it when, you know, I love seeing other YouTubers and what they come up with, you know, in addition to what I'm doing or what anybody else is doing. Because I think in the scheme of things, I've learned that when a student takes a class from you, they're bringing the experiences of everything else they've learned. And I also recommend people taking classes from other people besides me, because I feel like everybody learns differently and everybody will pick up things differently, and some people will learn better from other teachers. So I'm all about, you know, doing as much, you know, you know, taking classes from as many different talented sewing teachers as you can, because everybody has a little bit of a different take on things, and something might click for you easier if you hear it from somebody else, if you haven't been able to figure it out from the teachers you've been taking classes from. So that's my philosophy on that. All right, so let me switch back so you can see what I'm doing here. All right, so I flipped my pattern piece upside down so I can line my center back edge up, and it'll be really easy to see if it's parallel to the hem because it's very close to the hem. And I've got it down here where you can't see. It's right on the edge that I can see. And if I pull back my other edge over here, it's on there. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put some pattern weights on this. Like this. And I'm just trying to decide what I want to do here, because I want to cut it out some, but I don't want to cut it out on the exact line. Well, actually, you know what? The back, I'm going to cut the back out because it only has 8 pleats. So I'm going to cut out the back. When I cut out the front, I'm going to cut it out an inch or 2 away from the edge so I can recut it after I do all the pleats. But in the back, I have so few pleats, I'm just going to cut it out. I'm going to risk it. All right, so I'm going to slide this down just a little bit so I can... All right, where's my other... So my weighted tape dispensers have become pattern weights because this cool tool is now my absolute go-to for my Scotch tape dispenser. I love this thing. So let me see here. Okay, so now I can cut this out. So I'm literally just going to cut it out. Oh my God, I'm so excited I'm cutting out. You have no idea how excited I am. Oh, look, and I just made it on the shoulder here. Oh, and by the way, if you saw my cool tool about those replacement rotary cutter blades, I found a 15 pack of rotary cutter blades for $16 on Amazon, and they are hard Japanese steel. And I will tell you, whatever the date of that video is, still using the same blade. It works amazing. All right, let me just cut this out here. Okay. Now for the center front, or I'm sorry, the center back, I can see that my pattern is a little funky, so I am going to use my 48-inch ruler. I'm just going to line it up at the top and the bottom like this, at the neckline edge and the hem edge. and I'm just going to cut it straight like this. Okay. All right. All right, this is exciting. I have the back of the dress cut out. All right, let me just put this scrap. I'm going to hang the scrap up because see this big piece, I can use this to cut out a band if I decide to go that way. That's a lot of fabric. So I'm just going to put this over here so it doesn't get wrinkled. All right, so now let's look at okay, so I'm going to make some notes here. Now you can see I elongated the back neckline. I added an inch plus there's a 3/4 inch seam allowance. So really my neckline is really like this. Okay, so this is my real neckline. Okay, so you can see that I've added that much fullness that I can use to make pleats. Well, I'm sorry, I need a seam allowance. So I've added this much to make pleats. Okay, because then I have to have a seam allowance. So that's giving me, it should be 1 3/4 inches, which it is. Well, 1 inch, well, that's measuring 1 inch and we're going to do 1 inch, no, 1.5 inches. That's right, 1.5 inches. Okay, so I have 1.5 inches to play with for pleats on each side. And I think that I like the idea of radiating them longer, so I think I'm going to do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my my Choco liner. Okay, I love this Choco liner. I'll never forget when Susan Calgi held this up in her class and she goes, "This is the only chalk liner they use in France." So of course I had to buy one. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to mark. I'm going to leave this right here sort of as a guide, so I have this so I can see what I'm doing. But I'm going to go ahead and mark. Oh, I got to do it like this, sorry. We'll do one side at a time. And I'm going to make, so I don't screw this up, I'm going to make this the right side of the fabric. So I'm going to put my Sew Tight on the right side of the fabric here, and then I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to make this the right side of the fabric here. This is cross-dyed chambray linen, so there really is no wrong side. But I don't want to make 2 left sides or 2 right sides either. So this is going to be the right side. That's going to be the right side. And then I can just take one of these and I can move it out of the way. I'll hang it up on the thing. Okay. All right, so getting back to this now. Now linen can really start to ravel, so I'm going to want to not play with this a ton. I'm going to want to finish these edges before I get too crazy. I'm going to set up my serger. Right now my serger is set up with red thread because I sewed this top together, so I'm going to have to change my color. But essentially what I'm going to do first is I'm going to mark my 1/2 inch seam allowance. Now, I'm not going to mark it all the way down. I'm just going to mark it enough so I can see see where it is, where the pleats are going to go. Okay, so that's my seam allowance. Let me just move myself a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. Okay, so there's my seam allowance at 1/2 inch. Okay, and I have 1.5 inches extra, so that means I can do 4 3/8 inch pleats, right? 1/2 inch. So half of 1/2 inch is 3/4, so 3/8 would be how much I can get in 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go like this. And let's say the first pleat is going to start maybe 1/2 inch away. So I'm going to just go ahead and make a line there. I'm going to plan this out. You know what? I'm going to play loose and fast with my Sharpie marker because the very top edge of this will be finished. I have a 1/2 inch seam allowance here, so just so I can see what I'm doing, I'm going to just mark, here's my seam allowance, that green dot. I think, can you guys see the green dot I made? Just make it a little bit. Is that super sharp? Maybe a little brighter. Okay. So I'm just gonna, okay, so that's my seam allowance. Then I'm gonna go in 1/2 inch. Okay, and that's gonna be the start of my first pleat. So I'm gonna mark 3/8 of an inch right there. Then I'm gonna go 1/2 inch. So if I do 1, 2, 3, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'm gonna make them 1/2 inch apart. I think. You know what? I think what I'm going to do, instead of drawing them all, I'm going to just press them as I go. I'm going to move my Sew Tight over here. All right, let's get my pressing surface here. I want to at least show you how I'm going to do the pleats before I leave here today. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my iron. I'm going to turn my steam back on. Get it? Okay. And then I'm going to mark, if my first pleat is going to start here, so, and let's say we're going to make it, I'm going to make it go to about the base of the armhole deep. So let's say we make it this, let's say we're going to make it 10 inches long. So I'm just going to make a white line 1 inch away from the raw edge of the fabric like that. Then I'm going to mark 3/8. Okay, so this one is going to go I got to push this one to here. So I've got, if I have, this pleat will be this big. Yeah, so those are not going to be big pleats. I'm going to fold it 1/8 of an inch away. Wait a minute. All right, hold on. Oh, I know what I'm going to do to make it easy. I am going to, so this is me trying to think as I'm doing it. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the first, where it's going to be here. And then I'm going to mark, if it's going to be a 3/8 inch pleat, it's going to, I'm going to have to fold this one to 3/8 like that. So really 3/8 sucks. So you know what? I'm just going to go to 1/4. I'm going to a 1/2 inch because 3/8 is too small. And I'll do 3 of them instead of 4 of them, and then I'll see how it fits. Because this pleat has to go to here, like that. So if I fold those to match, it'll be a 1/4 inch away from that, like this. So now I'm gonna press it. So basically, for every line I do, it has to be a 1/4 inch is the middle of a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to do 1/2 inch because otherwise I'm going to make myself a crazy person. And so I'm going to stitch a 1/4 inch away from this fold now is going to be my first pleat. Like this. So there's where the first one will go. So now if I open that up, okay, you can see there's the first one. So then from these pins, from these pins, I'm going to measure another 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to go a 1/2 inch from there. And again, I'm going to fold this one so it's a 1/2 inch, a 1/4 inch from my line, like this. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing. This is kind of small. So I'm just going to show you what I have here, and then I actually have to call it because my dogs are outside freaking out at something, and I don't think my husband's home, and it's making me it's making me a wreck because I don't know why they're barking like that. So I'm gonna have to go find out what's going on with them. But basically, you can see here, let me just show you what I've done. So I've decided to not make myself crazy and do tiny 3/8. So I'm gonna do these pleats like this. I'm gonna sew them, and then I'm gonna press them this way on this side and that way on the other side. So you can see, I think that's nice and sharp. So I'm going to have 4 pleats on each side of my center front, and you'll see that's going to bring in my neckline, the amount I need. So you can see why when I do the front, I'm really going to have to leave extra so I can really recut the front, because the front is going to have a bunch of pleats. But I'm going to measure out a 1/2 inch away and essentially mark my next one like this. And then my next one will be right here. And they're going to go from about 10 inches. I think I'll make them maybe 1.5 inches shorter as I go up like that. So I'll just have the pleats longer here and shorter here. All right, so that's how I'm going to do the back. And then I'm going to press them away from center back. And then they're going to release down here. And we'll see how that looks. So basically that's how I'm going to be working these, and well, they're little tucks, really, little tucks. So that's how I'm going to do them. When I get off camera, I'll reevaluate whether or not I want to fuss around and make them smaller, make them 3/8. I might want to make them 3/8 when I'm not on camera. I'm just trying to show you what the process is going to be. I'm wondering if 1/2 inch is too big. I might have to bring them back down to 3/8, but that's how I'm going to do it. Tana is asking me, I'm going to use a 3-thread narrow to finish the edges of all my single layer linen. That way, when I go to put my dress together, I can either press the seam allowances open or I can press them together and top stitch, depending on what I want to do. So definitely it's going to be a 3-thread narrow, and I'm going to use gray thread to match my fabric. This is like a taupey brown color, so that's what I'm going to do. Usually when I finish single layers of fabric, I use a 3-thread. Now, if it's a heavy fabric, I'll use a 3-thread wide, and if it's something lightweight, I'll do a 3-thread narrow. So that's my plan for that. And if you saw my cool tools where I shared my little vacuum cleaner, I love this thing, and my little blower, I will tell you, I have the cleanest serger on the block right now, although I have to bring it in for service because my C1 needle for my cover stitch is not working. I couldn't get it to work to save my life. But anyway, so this is how I'm going to do my tucks. So next Friday, I'm going to be finishing this dress next Friday. So I don't know if I'll be still tucking by then, but I will be sharing progress pictures in the Facebook group. Oh, hi, Connie. Welcome, welcome. I was just about ready to sign off, actually. All right. So that is my FabFit Friday for today. I'm going to fuss with these tucks. When I cut out my front, remember, I'm going to cut around. I'm going to trace it on, and I'm going to give myself an extra inch around all the edges so I can recut it in case my tucks take up a little bit more fabric than I had intended. So that is my report. So if anybody needs new tops, I just want to make one more plug for this amazing fabric. I love this fabric. I'm very excited about it. So, oh, all right, hold on one second, hold on. All right, so let me just, hold on one second. Hold 1 second. I'll just give you the link here. All right, so I was telling, if anyone's just coming in now, I think I can, hold on, let me see. Get a pre-filled link. All right, I'm gonna, we'll see. Is that the link? I think that's the link. Oh. All right, I think that's the link. I think I'm gonna put it, I'll put it right here for you. See, I think that's the link. Hold on. All right, so this is the link. Oh, Mary says that she thinks 1/2 inch tuck will stick out too far. I know, that's what I'm looking at, Mary. I think I might fuss with it a little bit off camera. All right, I just click this link and see if it goes to the Google Doc. I was telling everybody that the fall pants fitting workshop, I sent out in my newsletter a sign-up sheet for a wait list. It's a Google form. And I think that that link I just put there will get you over to it if you want to sign up. The workshop has to be October 4th to 6th because there isn't rooms to reserve at a discount on the other date that was popular. So that was the most popular response. There was one other date that was also popular, but there are no rooms to reserve. So it's going to be October 4 to 6. But anyway, so if you want to check that out, you can put your thing there. I'm going to be emailing everybody who is on the waiting list, and then anybody else who now joins, I will send them a link as soon as the people who signed up first have a chance to sign up if they want to. Oh, Diane says fun show today. I had a good time today. I'm a little annoyed that I really intended to spend more time with the pleats before I got on today. I'm going to be completely honest with you. But then my serger class that I just developed did me in. And then I wanted to do this first because I wanted to show you how this was going to look. So if I hadn't made this shirt, I would have been able to make pleats before I got on camera. So now I'm agreeing with Mary that I think I'm going to try to swizzy them back down to 3/8. And as I work on those pleats, I will come up with an easy way to manage it. And then I'll share that process with you on a scrap next week if I get them all done before then, because it's kind of fussy to be folding all these small little tucks. So basically that's what's happening. Thank you guys for joining me so much. And I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. I hope you all stay safe. I hope you're all enjoying summer. And if you're in the part of the world where it's winter, because I got some, someone in my Discord channel shared with me a wool pullover top that she made because it's snowing where she is in Australia. So it's not warm everywhere. I have to keep remembering that. Oh, Momzilla said excellent fun. Oh, Mary goes even a 1/4 inch. I know, Mary. I'm going to see how small I can go without making myself a crazy person. That's my honest answer to that. So we will see what I come up with. And then I'll share that with you next Friday. But now that it's cut out, I will definitely do it. And now that I finished the serger class, this dress is now top on my list of things to get finished up here. So in terms of sewing projects. So I will have plenty to show you, and I'll show you whatever process I come up with that will make it the easiest way to make these tucks without making yourself crazy. And I'll share all of that next Friday. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you again very, very soon. Thank you for joining me.